What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is more oddities of US geography by Geography King, I believe it is. His links are in the description, but what should I do?
Stay first.
Stay first, wait to the end of the video and check his links out. A great channel as well, which we've done a few videos on, haven't we? This is more oddities, self-explanatory to be honest. We did, I think it was 16 oddities, weren't it, we did?
Yeah, that rings a bell.
I think it was 16, or something along them lines. So this is more of them. You guys enjoyed it, we enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you do enjoy this kind of video again. Smash the subscribe button, we'd seriously appreciate it. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get into it. How many likes should we get on this one?
3,204.
3,204. Get liking. You guys,
remember that for the end.
All you legends will need to like to get to that. So smash that. Yeah, you got to remember that in about 30 minutes time. Howdy.
It's Kyle.
Howdy. It's Kyle with another installment of Oddities of U.S. Geography, where I'll be examining some interesting quirks and features of the geography of the U.S. and a little bit of Canada as well. So with a landmass as large of the U.S., there's bound to be some pretty interesting things. Some of these are well known, and you may have heard of some of this stuff, and some other ones I wasn't aware of until I read about them in the comment section in my other video in this series, and some other ones still, this might be the first time you're hearing about them, but let's get started with some of this weird stuff about the U.S. First, I want to talk about Crater Lake, Oregon, and just how incredibly deep it is. It has a maximum depth of 1,949 feet, which makes it the deepest lake in the U.S. and the 9th deepest lake in the world. It has an average depth of 1,148 feet, which makes it the 3rd deepest lake in the world in terms of average depth. And that's all very impressive, but what makes it even more impressive is it's not really that big of a lake. It's not even one of the top 100 lakes in the U.S. in terms of area, and there are literally thousands of lakes worldwide larger than Crater Lake.
I like the name of it as well.
Because the surface area isn't huge while being one of the deepest lakes, it has the highest depth to area ratio of any lake in the world. And also, this happens to be a beautiful national park. Next, I want to discuss how the Mississippi River's meandering has caused some pretty interesting situations in terms of state boundaries. Water is very powerful, but it's also pretty lazy. It wants the path of least resistance, so if a river can get to where it's going by using an easier path, it will change course, and a meander might leave a piece of the old river behind as an oxbow lake. And how that affects state borders is that many of the borders were determined to be the river itself. However, when the meander changed course, portions of a state that were supposed to be east of the river are now west of the river.
Yeah, that's weird.
There are far too many of these to mention in the video, but most of them are around the Memphis, Tennessee area, southeastern Arkansas, northwestern Mississippi, or northeastern Louisiana. The largest of these oxbows is just south of Vicksburg, Mississippi. And perhaps the strangest one is Fulton County, Kentucky, which is the southwestern corner of the state. This small part of the state is completely cut off from the rest of Kentucky, and the only way to get there by road is from Tennessee.
Yeah, see, that's weird. Just because, like I said, the water's moved direction so many times. Cool. The orange is Kentucky State, yellow is Tennessee. So
yeah, to go through Tennessee to get there.
That's pretty mental, isn't it?
To get to Kentucky.
Yeah, just
from
that little
Kentucky.
island. Imagine if you live. Does anyone live in that little bit? Let us know in the comments. I'm guessing it's quite a big bit. Would be my guess. So, do you think?
Yeah, because look at the little towns.
Yeah, exactly. So let us know if anyone lives in Kentucky Bend. That'd be pretty sick. Like just surrounded by water, and you got to go through another state to go to yours. That'd be pretty sick.
A very interesting oxbow is Carter Lake, Iowa. It's right in the middle of the Omaha, Nebraska metropolitan area, and it sits directly adjacent to the Omaha airport. If you look at this aerial photograph, the portions to the right of the airport, which is just west of the airport, is the town of Carter Lake. But a major difference between this one and the Mississippi River oxbows is that those take a long time to create. Those were years and years of meandering and erosion. The one around Carter Lake occurred from one big flood.
Wow.
And take a look at this.
They weren't there before
flood. This is a really cool sign. If your town is an oxbow, you might as well have a welcome sign like this.
That's sick.
And staying in Iowa, it's the only state in the country where the entirety of its eastern border and the entirety of its western border is a river. Rivers form a lot of the borders with states, but most also have another type of border, maybe a line of longitude or a mountain crest or something like that. But for Iowa, 2 of its borders are completely rivers.
So you're trapped.
And another small one about Iowa. It's the only state in the country where its state abbreviation...
I mean, you could always swim across or get a boat across. I guess you could, yeah, in theory. Worst case, but just feel like you're trapped in your car. Yeah. You've got to go north or south to get out of it. Well, it's quite big still, isn't it? But
Yeah, but like
if you just want to go to a neighbouring
knowing
state,
that you're trapped though.
I guess maybe not.
Is 2 vowels. Another spot that is cut off from the rest of its state is the Lost Peninsula in Michigan. This is a small piece of land that is only accessible by road from Ohio. Michigan and Ohio fought to see who would get this area around Toledo. Eventually, it was decided by the courts to use a line of latitude, and this little piece of the peninsula was north of that line of latitude that the Supreme Court drew, and now it's part of Michigan.
Wow.
And Michigan losing this battle is probably why they're still so bitter about Ohio. In terms of what state a city lies in, there's nothing stranger than Texarkana, Texas, and Arkansas. This is effectively one city in which portions of it are in each of the 2 states.
Wow.
And this is
Yeah,
not
so
the
that's
same
weird
thing
as
as
well,
Kansas
isn't it?
City, Missouri, and Kansas.
Like, you walk down the street, oh, I'm in a different state. I know it's not the same as like national borders, but it can be perceived potentially as your own country
Imagine
in terms of
living on
laws
the line,
and stuff.
like half your house is in one state, half your house is in another.
Yeah, and imagine if it was just like the most stupid law in one of the states, but you can do it in the other.
Or if you lived in one state, went to school in a different state.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to travel a whole state,
Yeah.
but actually take 10 steps out your door.
Like like a 5-minute walk.
But you could tell everyone, yeah, I travel a whole state to get to school.
That sounds better, to be fair.
Definitely.
Kansas. Those are 2 completely different cities, completely different jurisdictions. Although each half of Texarkana had its own mayor and city council, they do share a lot of city services, and the courthouse and the post office are right along the state line, and there's only one or 2 of them. And something else interesting about that is if you live in Texarkana, Arkansas, you don't pay state income taxes as if you lived on the Texas side.
Oh, wow.
So it's the only city in the country that is located within 2 states. Another interesting one about Arkansas is that it borders 6 states, and you can drive due south from Arkansas into all 6 of the states that it borders. So you can see how the boot heel of Missouri kind of juts to the southwest, and how the northwestern portion of the state has a slanted border with Oklahoma, so you can drive south from there too. For this next one, I want to give credit to Alvin, who commented in my other video about oddities. You can drive from Scottsbluff, Nebraska to Savannah, Georgia, which is over 1,700 miles, and only have to pass through Missouri and Tennessee to get there.
So you only have two states, but I just want to highlight this to you. So you've not even gone the whole length of the country, yeah? And when we do our road trip to Rotherham from the ferry, it's only like 200 miles. That's 1,700. 27 hours in a car. That is ridiculous. So if you wanted to go on a road trip that long, it's 27 hours.
It's in America. I feel like a road trip is different because you stop in hotels. You'd stop and see things in Georgia. Then you'd go drive up to Tennessee.
It's still a long drive, isn't it?
You'd stop and see things in. Did he say you drive through 2 states?
Yeah, Tennessee,
Technically,
Missouri.
though, look where they are. They're on the very end of their state. So technically, you do have to drive through Nebraska and through Georgia to get to Savannah.
No?
You do. If you're driving from the top, you've got to drive through Georgia to get to Savannah.
Yeah, but you start in Georgia.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah, but you start in Georgia.
Yeah, but you've still got to drive through the whole state.
Yeah, but if you were in Jersey, you wouldn't say you drove through Jersey. You got the ferry and then you drove through England and got to Rotherham. If you were in Rotherham, you wouldn't say you drove through Rotherham. You'd say, I drove from Rotherham to there. So you drove from Georgia to Nebraska.
Yeah, but you've had to drive through the whole state. So it's technically 4 states you've driven through.
No, but thing is, you could stop at the start of it. The idea is you can get to one side of Nebraska, like the furthest side of Nebraska.
Yeah, by driving through 4 states.
By driving through 2.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm having it.
like because you could just stop as soon as you hit Nebraska,
Press play,
and you could just stop as soon as you hit
My
Georgia.
mind is not going to change, honestly.
So if you live in Scottsbluff, you can say, we don't live that far from the Atlantic Ocean. We're only 3 states away. Another interesting quirk about Tennessee and Georgia is something that I see all the time. To drive from Chattanooga to Nashville along I-24, you have to go through a small part of Georgia to do it. It's the only place in the U.S. where you drive from one portion of a state to another along the interstate, but you have to go through another state to do it. And something else interesting about that is that when you cross over into Georgia, it keeps the Tennessee mile markers. Usually when you get to a state line, the mile markers will start over for that new state, but because it's such a small portion of Georgia you drive through, it keeps the Tennessee mile markers.
That makes sense.
Another one about Georgia is Savannah along the coast is actually south of Tijuana, Mexico. So if you draw a line of latitude from Tijuana all the way east across the U.S., you'll end up right around Hilton Head
Oh,
Island,
wow.
South Carolina. Just up the road from Tijuana is San Diego, and San Diego has an average high temperature in June of 71 degrees, which just
22,
happens to
okay.
be the same average high temperature in June for Fairbanks, Alaska. Fairbanks
Wow.
does get pretty
Alaska
warm during
warm.
the summertime, and temperatures in the 80s can be pretty common. It's just so far away from the moderating effects of the ocean, and the sun is shining just
Look
all
how we
the
got closest to
time in
Russia.
June and July.
Yeah, it's mental. It's so close to Russia. You just don't think that, do you? But 32 degrees in Alaska.
Like, that's probably about the same distance as France to England.
Potentially. Oh, I don't know. Potentially. Yeah, it might be actually. Maybe. I really don't know. We need a scale of this map because it's proper zoomed in, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
So yeah, it's just as warm as San Diego in June and July, but in January it's just a little bit different.
Just a little bit colder.
Another interesting climate quirk is that
I love
Seattle,
snow.
regardless of
I
how
love snow
far
also.
north it is, averages only 5 inches of snow per year. And compare that to, say, Nashville or Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which average 6 inches of snow per year. You might be thinking, well, because it rains so much, but it does rain a lot, but the amount of rain in Seattle really isn't that much. It only rains about 38 inches a year there. And where I live, again in Chattanooga, it averages 53 inches
Okay.
of rain per year.
So it's
a lot of
not
cloudy
too
days
much.
in Seattle during the winter, but it's mostly kind of drizzly and light rain and very rarely snow. An oddity about time zones is that portions of eastern Oregon are in the mountain time zone, and portions of the Florida panhandle are in the central time zone, which means there's only a 1 hour time difference between that portion of Oregon and that portion of Florida. And that's
Wow.
the farthest distance in the contiguous U.S. you can be to be only a 1 hour time difference apart.
Yeah, that's a big distance as
An
well,
odd
isn't it?
relationship between cities and counties is New York City. New York is the only city in the country where the city government supersedes county governments. Each of the 5 boroughs of New York City is its own county. Manhattan is New York County, Bronx is Bronx County, Queens is Queens County, Brooklyn is Kings County, and Staten Island is Richmond County.
Okay.
I think it would have been cool.
I was just about to say, after the first couple, why don't we just say it was the Bronx, like, county
Yeah.
after it? But obviously it does change a little bit, which makes sense. And do you enjoy these videos?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, just because I really enjoy them, because we may not take everything in the first couple times, but you guys don't know, I watch these a couple times after as well, just because I genuinely like
So much
learning them.
information in one video.
And definitely, you definitely don't pick up most of it. But I normally watch these, like, this is the second time he's reacting to it, because I've seen this a long time ago.
And you're still fascinated.
Still fascinated because I'm learning new stuff as well, and I'll happily rewatch it again just to pick up on the stuff which I haven't mentioned, because I proper do enjoy learning it, and just little quirks. It's quite fun. Like, who knew geography could be so fun?
Yeah, I didn't. Not 16-year-old me.
Yeah, definitely not.
Brooklyn would have kept the name Kings, so it would have been Kings and Queens, but either way, New York is the only city like this. For this next oddity, I want to thank commenters Mr. Flibble and Marty who posted this in my other video about oddities. If you start in Stamford or Greenwich, Connecticut, and head due north, due south, due east, or due west, the first state line you're going to get to in all directions is New York.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I had to look at the map for this one, but it's because these 2 towns are located in that little nub, which is the southwestern corner of the state. This next one has to do with the strange shape of Maryland, which I think is the weirdest shaped state in the country. The northern border for Maryland is a line of latitude, and the southern border of the panhandle of Maryland is the Potomac River. Nothing strange about that except for the fact that at one point they're only 1 mile apart from each other. So there's a tiny little portion of Maryland where it's only 1 mile wide, separating it from Pennsylvania and West Virginia.
Wow.
Wow, that is a
And
small
somehow
border.
I-68 squeezes right in there, so I'm not sure how Maryland worked that one out, but it goes right there. And here are a couple of quirks that the Flat Earth crowd aren't going to like. One is that the closest state to the African continent is not Florida, it's Maine. You can get from Maine to Morocco more quickly than you can get from Florida to Senegal.
Oh, wow.
So look there, Maine and Morocco, you're not so far apart after all. Another one for the Flat Earth crowd is that San Francisco and Indianapolis are both the same distance to Delhi, India. They're both about 7,600 miles to Delhi, but of course to fly there you would go in a different direction.
Yeah, okay,
Or
that
another
makes
way of
sense.
looking at it
I was just trying to figure it out, but yeah, obviously,
Yeah, one
opposite
six
way
away, yeah.
makes sense.
is that if you're in Denver, it's the same distance to Delhi, whether you travel east or west. Now here are a couple of interesting geographical quirks about Canada. I want to thank commenter Richard for this one. The southernmost point in Canada is Point Pelee, which is about an hour south of Detroit or Windsor.
Wow, that
There
is
are more
proper in
Americans
US,
that
isn't
live
it?
Yeah.
north of this point than in all of Canada combined. There are less than 40 million people that live in Canada, but there are more than 40 million Americans that live north of the southernmost point of Canada. Another oddity about Canada is just the sheer size and lack of population of Nunavut. It's approximately 725,000 square miles or 1.9 million square kilometers.
Wow.
That's about the same size as Mexico. It's larger than Alaska and nearly 3 times the size of Texas. However, for this enormous area, there are only 36,000 people that live there. You do the math, and the population density is 0.0 people per square kilometer or square mile.
That's how empty
Now,
it is.
technically, it's
Wow.
0.02 people per square kilometer or 0.05 people per square mile, but if you're using just one decimal place, it's 0.0 people per square kilometer or mile. Nunavut makes Central Australia look like Toronto.
Wow.
And the last one that I wanted to mention isn't really an oddity, it's just kind of silly. There's a town in South Carolina called North. It was named after a guy named John North, so the town's name is North, South Carolina.
That's
And 100
yeah.
miles
That's just
away
confusing.
is a
Yeah.
town called Due West. So one way of putting it is you can say North South Carolina is 100 miles southeast of Due West. So there you have it, some more oddities of U.S. geography. I'll probably post a video.
Did you enjoy that?
Let's go.
It was good. A lot of oddities in there, a lot of random stuff. Let us know if you learned something new on there. And again, the last one, like you
That's a
agree,
mind changer.
I'm going to north-south. Where are you going? North-south. What? Smash that button if you enjoyed, guys. Smash the subscribe button. How many likes?
3,201.
I don't know if that was right. I think it may have been.
I think it is.
Did you say 41?
No, I said 201.
I believe you. Smash the like button, guys. Smash the subscribe button. And what's to do?
How fantastic.
And we'll see you legends in the next one. Peace.